This is Steve Ridgel, and from time to time on these videos, I've been sharing some insight and a little bit of the content of my latest book, Wounds into Scars, helping turn your sin wounds into spiritual scars. Chapter 4 of that book is about owning your story. We talk a lot about, the story of David, how David really got to the heart of the matter, and the heart of the matter with his sin was, God. It was a heart thing with God. You can talk about Bathsheba, and you can talk about her husband, and you can talk about the commander of the armies, but ultimately, David got it. His sin was against God, and he had to fix that relationship. So we talk about that, and of course, the helper, Nathan, and I hope some of you that will read this book are doing it to help others. But we also talk a little bit about the fact that you can be a faithful Christian and be a sinner. You can really struggle and battle your addictions and still love Jesus. Scripture's clear on that, and we talk about that. I even tell a real life story of one of my really good friends who I've walked beside him for probably 30, maybe longer years, and he struggles and he battles, but I tell you why I love him. He never says, not my fault, here's the issue, blame them, it was the way I was, He just says, I struggle with this. I sometimes fall. Help me do better. And he is doing better. But it's taken a long time, but I've never questioned but that he loves the Lord. And we even talk a little bit in that chapter about what good is a sinner anyway. And we use a little bit of the story of Peter, the great apostle, who was on a boat with Jesus when Jesus caused such a great catch of fish. And Peter realized how much power was in Jesus, and he just fell on his knees and said, "Get away from me, I'm a sinful man." And Jesus did that incredibly moving. Don't be afraid. Follow me. And from now on, we'll catch men. I've lived that verse. I love that verse. You see, sometimes we sinners are so passionate about being evangelists because we know how much God has forgiven us and we know what God has done in our life. And so I'm forever thankful that I made the decision to work hard, to trust God, to get my life in order, to center my heart on God, to identify when I struggle with sin, that it's a heart problem that starts with my relationship with God. And I was walked along others to share that, your sin does not mitigate your usefulness. Are there consequences? You bet, always are. But God's forgiveness is powerful. And so yes, Christians can sin and can be faithful and can do great things for God. So, Wounds into Scars, Ardent from 21st Century Christian. This is Steve Ridgel thanking God for loving and forgiving me.